I was asked an interesting question earlier, which is how many fights can Conor McGregor lose before he loses relevance? Now, the reason it's interesting is we've talked about that the other way, right? There's no answer to what it is that's going to put a guy over. What it is that's going to make a main event star that people are going to stop what they're doing to watch. There's not an answer. There's really good guesses. There's a lot of commonalities that we can identify a group of stars, by example. Star sounds a little, but you get my point. The top guy. There's some commonalities within the top athletes that they all will have in common, and we'll come back and tell people, okay, this is what you have to do. But the truth is, it's not 2 + 2 = 4. There is absolutely no recipe, of which is relevant to Conor McGregor because he had only had 2 fights within the organization before he was a main event. His second fight in the organization, he was the main event of the undercard, taking on a guy you might have heard of called Max Holloway. Conor's first time, that was his second time. His second time, he's headlining an undercard against what went on to be the greatest featherweight of all time. I mean, a really good fight looking back. Prior to that, his first fight ever was an undercard, of which he knocked his opponent out and then demanded 50 grand from Dana. Do you guys remember that? He grabs the mic and he goes, "That's 50 G's, baby." They gave him 50 grand. So his first ever fight, he gets 50 grand bonus. His second fight, he main events an undercard. After that, he has never been anything but a headliner, ever. That's remarkable. There's only one person to beat him in terms of, hello, here I am, boom, I'm a star. That's Brock Lesnar. But I think that you guys would agree with me that Brock, there's a little bit of an asterisk only because of what he came in with. Nobody had ever heard of a Conor McGregor. Everybody knew who Brock Lesnar was. It was totally different. A couple of guys from the job site are showing up to support Conor McGregor. The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin show up to support Brock Lesnar. I mean, can we agree that if you move Brock out, but you kind of have to move Brock out because that was a household name? That was somebody people knew. Conor McGregor, there's never been a faster rising star, right? If we're eliminating Brock Lesnar. I bring that history lesson for you because the question I was asked is how long till that star goes out? That also was not 2 + 2 = 4. I was very surprised with some of the participation I've had with ESPN over the week. And it didn't matter if you backed up before Max's fight or you backed up before Chiesa's fight or right now just before Conor's fight. Everybody was talking about Conor all week long. I'd be talking about Max and then boom, I'd get hit with a question about Conor. But one of the hosts who I was on with, Michael Eaves, in fact, Michael Eaves said to me something I didn't know. He said, Chael, all this hype about McGregor and how great McGregor is, but he's 3-2 in his last 5. Does he have what it takes against Dustin Poirier? I moved on and answered the question, but it stayed with me because I did not realize he was 3-2. I did not realize that. And if you want to slip in there Floyd Mayweather, I guess he's 3-3 in his last 6. But me not knowing is a very positive sign, right? I don't know if any of the rest of you knew that. Do you guys know in his last 6, including Floyd, he's 3-3, he's batting 500? Did you even know that? And if the answer is no, I think you see where that's a real positive for Conor. I would trust if Poirier gets beat by Conor, Poirier is going to be meaningful. You bet your ass he is. But there's not a ton of options. He's too big to cut to 45. He's not quite big enough to go to 70. So he's stuck in purgatory at 55 with a lot of other guys. But do you see where the consequences are going to be drastically different? And what if Poirier loses his next one after that and his next one after that? By example, we're probably not talking about Dustin Poirier a year from now. This is a hypothetical. If he loses his next 3, we're probably not talking about Dustin Poirier a year from now. Is there any scenario with which you could close your eyes and imagine that 1 year from now, regardless of outcome, we aren't talking about Conor McGregor? See where it's not the same? So I don't know the answer. I would not have known the answer any more than you guys did, that in Conor's 3rd fight on, he will only be a main event. We knew when Brock Lesnar was coming over, something special was going to happen. The question was, is he any good at this sport? But the same goes on the other side. I don't know what Brock's record in his last 5 is. I have the foggiest idea. If I found out Lesnar was fighting, I'm going to be excited for it. I didn't have any idea that Conor is 3-3 in his last 6. And frankly, I don't care. I liked his attitude. He's got more of a commodity than just his punches and kicks. He also brings into the entertainment aspect. There's something special going on. I like the fact that he did it in 2 different sports. I love the fact that he did it over 3 different weight classes and is now settling into what I believe to be his best weight class. I just think that there's more to the story, and I think there's more to the journey. And if fighters can get fans to come along the journey, that's when the fighter has longevity. And the fighter gets his feelings hurt because he lost and the fans turn on him, or the fighter gets nice and high on life because he won and the fan said something good. That's normal. That's natural. I don't begrudge anybody. Other than the fighter for not understanding, it's not the point and never was. The point is to get as many people to come along the journey that's going to go up and it's going to go down. But it's going to go a long time if you do it right.